All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to remind everyone to please make sure that all cell phones are turned to the off or vibrate position. Also, please be advised our city council meetings are broadcast on television, on Comcast Channel 99, and rebroadcast on WMGJ Radio. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Toles.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Worthy.
Here.
Councilman Eccles is absent today. Councilman Billingsley.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
And Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask Brian Harbison to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you pray with me? Almighty God, we thank you for today. We just thank you for the blessings that you bestowed on this city. And God, as we prepare as a nation to celebrate Thanksgiving in a couple of days, we just pray that God will be mindful of our Savior and who you are. And God, your provisions. We just pray that you'll be with this council today. Give them the wisdom they need in the decisions they make. Be with the mayor and his administration. Just give him the knowledge and the wisdom with the choices he has to make each day. And God, in the end, we promise to give you the glory and the praise for all the good things you're going to do in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and city council meeting held on November 7th.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
The chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of accounts for the weeks of November 3rd through 9th and 10th through 16th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts for both weeks.
Proclamations, Mayor, do you have it?
Could I get Carol and John Larkins to come up, please?
Judy and Bob, would you like to come up? We got. That's good. Whereas music plays an increasingly important role in our world today, it is one of the most sublime of human pursuits and is subscribed to by all races and creeds. Music is also the language of all people and one of the greatest forces in creating peace and harmony. The Alabama Federation of Music Clubs, the National Federation of Music Clubs, and cooperating organizations dedicated to encouraging young musicians to increase their musical knowledge and advance American music join forces to direct attention to the dynamic influence of music in everyday living. Therefore, I, Sherman Guyton, Mayor of the City of Gadsden, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2017 as Parade of American Music Month in the city of Gadsden, and ask all citizens of this community to observe and take part in activities that recognize the importance of music, musicians, musical organizations, and what they add to the cultural life of our city, state, and nation.
Thank you. I'm Carol Larkins. I'm the state president of the Alabama Association of American Federation of Music Clubs, and I want to thank everybody, especially on the council members, and also the mayor and his secretary. She is so wonderful. I have called her about 3 times, and we've sent emails back and forth, and so she is responsible for us to be able to get this proclamation today. And this is a Parade of American Music Month. So all this month, we are inviting everybody and asking everybody to please play American music. That is why our federation was founded on. And Rose Faye Thomas of Chicago wanted to make sure that American music was protected, preserved, and also shows that we can also get accolades from not only Americans, but the Europeans, because they thought American music was nothing back in the 1880s. And so therefore, we stand here about 25 years ago it was founded, and we are still going strong. And I do thank you for everything that you have done for our music clubs and for the Federation. And thank you once again.
I appreciate you speaking about one of my secretaries. I do, excuse me. I do have good help. If I didn't, I don't know where I'd be right now, trust me.
I know, she was so helpful. I mean, like I said, we called, we talked, and we emailed, and I'm a novice on the computer, so.
Me too.
She was such a big help.
Is Sandy Woodward here? Woodard? Hey, how are you?
Yes, sir.
Whereas the city of Gadsden is committed to the welfare of its citizens, especially those in need. Manna is a tool that can be used to provide nutritional assistance to those unable to provide for themselves. Manna is a nonprofit organization manned by volunteers who deliver nutritional meals to the sick and the aged. Now therefore, I, Sherman Guyton, Mayor of the City of Gadsden, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim November 19, 2017 is Manna Sunday, and further proclaim that hereinafter the Sunday before Thanksgiving each year be proclaimed Manna Sunday in the City of Gadsden.
So first of all, good morning. My name is Sandy Woodard, and I am the Executive Director of Manna. Have been for about 2 months now, so it's brand new to me. I am very much enjoying it, very much am in awe of what the program does. Manna has been in existence for about 30 years now. And for those of you who may not be familiar with Manna, we do service the elderly, homebound, and disabled in the community that cannot provide or have the ability to provide physically a meal for themselves. And we serve the lunchtime meal Monday through Fridays. And Mayor Guyton, for you and all the council members, on behalf of the staff, on behalf of the workers, the volunteers, and especially on behalf of all the clients who receive the meals, thank you. We could not exist without you. Recently, we received our annual allocation from the city, which was very generous, and we very much appreciate that. We would not be able to serve the community as we do without your help and your support and what y'all do for us. So I just don't want that to go unappreciated. I want you to know how much we appreciate that. But thank you. If there's anything that we can do for you to assist or help, just let us know. Mr. Scott, anything?
I think most of you know that I represent the library here. 2 weeks ago, I was also here when the council had a proclamation recognizing the community Thanksgiving that's coming up on Thursday. I'm on the board of MANA. I guess if it involves food, I'm here, right? So this MANA organization, I'm a new board member as well. I joined in August like Sandy, and she's done a marvelous job in moving the organization forward. But she mentioned it's 30 years old. Back 30 years ago in 1987, they served 32 meals. Last year, 42,000. So it's an incredible organization. Meals on Wheels we're known as. And I wanted to thank all of you for your support and for Sandy joining our organization and leading it in the right way.
That is, if you've never been around it, that is a very important program here that's in the city, and the people who volunteer to take all the meals out every day. You know, that's really a big deal to some people. That's the only person they see all day. And I'll tell you a little story. A little guy used to live some apartments on for people 55 and older, and he was probably about 80. He was a military guy. And heard loud music one day when I was down there, and I walked in. He had Frank Sinatra playing, and he was all dressed up. I said, "Are you having a party?" He said, "No, that cute little girl from MANA will be bringing my lunch here pretty soon, and I want to look good." So it is really something. It means something to them, and you just don't understand how we appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Mayor, let me say this. I carried meals for about 8 years, and some of those people are the only time that they get to see other people is when the man of meal people come by. And you get attached to those people now. I'm telling you, when something happens to them, you check and see about them. So I think that's one of the best programs that's going on is that man of meals.
Thank you, Mr. Billingsley. And I will tell you, anybody that would like to volunteer, we always need volunteers. So just get in touch with us, let us know, and we'll put you to work.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I do want to thank those who've supported the music club and the music efforts in the city for years. Do thank you for your tireless effort and the contribution that you make to the city. And of course, I don't think enough can be said about MANA. I'll share a personal story. My grandmother, before she died, anybody that knows me knows that my grandparents were very instrumental in my upbringing. And my grandmother in the later years, she was a very good cook, but she no longer could prepare meals for herself. So the MANA meal that we paid for was what she would get, and she would spread it out. It was more than enough food for her for the entire day. And she likewise appreciated both the visit and the meals and the food. And we were very concerned because she's real picky about what she eats, and she never really appreciated anybody else's cooking. But she did appreciate the MANA meal and the visit that she got, and you guys do a tremendous service. And I'll echo your call for volunteers. That is very important. I volunteered one year around the holidays when I was available, and I can tell you that there are not enough volunteers. We need people. We appreciate the ones like Councilman Billingsley who did it tirelessly for years, but we do need more. We do need more volunteers, and so we want to take this opportunity to really implore people to come out and support that group. And I don't think any of us would argue that MANA is one of the greatest programs that we have in the city. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Unfinished business, we have none today. The public hearing that was scheduled regarding the resolution for 303 Southside Avenue in District 4 will not be necessary. The owner has abated the nuisance, and no council action is needed at this time. This is the time and place as advertised to conduct a public hearing allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property at 16 Little Street in District 7, Laura Minyard and James T. Smith being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does any,
There's two back there.
Okay. come on up. All right. If you'll come to the microphone and just give us your name and address, please.
My name is James T. Smith at 16 Little Street.
Okay,
I'm Laura Minyard, 16 Little Street.
okay,
We just want to know what the issue is.
okay. I'm sure what's going to happen is when you guys are done, a member of the building department will come up and make the case for this resolution. And so you'll get to find out at that point, you know, some of the things that have been determined to be nuisance issues with the property.
Okay.
And so I think this may be an appropriate time for you to speak to maybe how much additional time you may need, what's been done with the property, things of that nature.
Okay, we've been in court several times on this. Judge King okayed everything there. Far as we concerned, I mean, we need to know, like you said, what we need to do. I mean, it's nothing changed since he okayed it. And basically, I mean, I work every day, she work every day. The house is up under construction and permit was pulled, and we couldn't get another permit for it, so now it's on hold. So we don't know, you know, where we at on it.
Okay. Well, once the building department has spoken about the property, I think it may not be a bad idea for you to have a conversation with the building department after this meeting, and then they can talk about, you know, what, if anything, you may be able to do to be able to bring the property up to code. Okay? All right. Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in opposition? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, I'm Brian Harbison with the Building Department. This case involves trash and debris. There have been some vehicles, overgrown lot cases. This is a 13th case dating back to 2012. There have been a couple of court appearances, but there's a history of noncompliance, and based on the continuing complaints from the neighbors and based on what you see in the photos there that were taken recently, we're asking for a resolution from the council to abate the nuisance. And this just involves the yard, things in the yard, not the house. Thank you.
So basically what you're telling us, Brian, he just needs to clean up his yard, right? Haul the stuff off in the yard, the building material and stuff.
Yeah, and essentially, just like with a demolition, if the city has to go on the property and abate the nuisance, they'll assess a lien against the property for the amount. Okay. So I still encourage you to have a conversation with Mr. Harbison offline after this meeting, but again, it's a debris claim for the most part. Okay. So, yeah, you guys understand that?
To avoid paying to have it done, then y'all would do it, correct?
Okay. All right, what is the pleasure of the council?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? And as has been stated, you know, I think there'll be time between now and the time that they actually get to the property for you to take measures into your own hands and go ahead and get it cleaned up, okay? All right, and again, if you have any questions about that, please reach out to the building department, okay? Anything else? Okay, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item number 11 is a resolution authorizing agreement with the Alabama Student Angler Bass Fishing Association. This is for the city to sponsor a fishing tournament at Coosa Landing on February 24, 2018. The amount is $5,000. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
I oppose.
we have one no. Motion carries to adopt.
All right, item number 12 is a resolution authorizing agreement with American Bass Anglers. This is for the city to sponsor a fishing tournament at Coosa Landing on March 4th, 2018, and the amount is $1,000. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item number 13 is a resolution authorizing agreement with the Alabama Department of Transportation. This is for repairs to the traffic signal system along Highway 431 within the city limits, and the amount is $110,494.80. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
All right, item number 14 is an ordinance amending city code sections 10-106B3A and B and 10-106B4A. This is to correct a clerical error on the subsections referencing feral cat colonies. The ordinance has been presented today for first reading, and the council will vote on it next week. Okay, new business. Is there any new business? Department reports, committees, boards.
Yes, Mr. President, I will try to be brief but thorough. We do have a lot going on the next, I guess, the next 5 weeks, all the way through the first of the year. It all kind of kicks off tonight at Nakalula Falls with Paws on the Falls. Great event. You can bring your pets out. I would encourage dogs only, but I guess there are other things that you could bring, as long as they're on a leash. We will start selling tickets at 4 o'clock tonight, but the gates actually open at 5, and that should be everyone's first opportunity to see the Christmas light, the annual Christmas light display at the falls. To be clear, the train will not run, and the petting zoo will be closed as well. This is a special event, and it will help benefit the Humane Society. $1 of each ticket sold will go to the Humane Society. There'll also be special Christmas ornaments available. As I alluded to, Christmas at the Falls actually opens Thanksgiving night, which is this Thursday, believe it or not. Santa does not arrive until Friday, so if you're looking for Santa Claus, wait and come Friday night. But we encourage everyone to come on out Thursday as they are available. The dates for Christmas at the Falls are November 23rd through December 23rd. Then we'll be closed the 24th and 25th in observance of Christmas, and reopen the 26th through the 30th. Pre-sale of tickets, as usual, starts at 4 p.m. The event actually opens at 5 p.m. Tickets are $6 for 4 years and up. Children less than 4 would be free. We encourage ticket sales online at NakalulaFallsPark.com. And then we've got a string of events starting December 1st, which is also First Friday. We'll have the annual Christmas tree lighting, and we're going to try to step up our game this year. I'm not promising Rockefeller Center, but it'll be just shy of that. So come on out. We'll have inflatables for the kids. Santa will actually flip the switch to light the tree. We've got Santa, well, I can't think of it. It's Mr. Sandridge, John Sandridge.
Papa calls.
Papa
Papa
calls.
Calls will be there as well. Cultural Arts will have snow for the kids to play in the Museum of Art. We'll have activities. There'll be hot chocolate vendors, maybe some food vendors. So it really will be an event instead of just lighting and move on. And it'll be, all that'll be capped off with the boat parade. So you'll be able to view that from the front lawn of City Hall. So that's free. Gates open at 4:30 on Friday, December 1st. Then we turn right around and you have the Kiwanis Christmas Parade Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. I think we'll have someone here to talk about that next Tuesday. And that's also the kickoff of Mistletoe Market at the Fifth Street Market, which has been busy from the time we opened. So Mistletoe Market also starts, like I say, the same day as the Christmas Parade. It'll run 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then it'll also be held that Sunday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. All of this information we'll bring to you again next week, and it's available on the website and Channel 99. So thank you for your time, and I challenge you to come to everything.
All right, thank you, Shane. Remarks by the mayor and council. Mayor?
Just to comment about Christmas at the Falls, the prices there are really cheap. I've been to Rock City, the Polar Express down below Alabaster, somewhere down that way, and a few others just to see what they had. All of those together is not as big as Christmas at the Falls. So if you want to see I don't know, there used to be close to 1 million lights. I don't know how many we got now, but it's really a treat, and it's fun for everybody. The kids really love it, so you can get a lot more for your money than by going to some other place. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Toles?
No comment.
Councilman Worthy?
Yes. I'd like to announce my District 3 community meeting will be December the 7th. That's the first Thursday of December at Carver Community Center. We will have Lynn, Love Your Neighbor. They will be there to discuss plans and get information from the people in District 3, specifically the Tuscaloosa Avenue community, to see what they want to have done in that community so they can start working like they did on South 11th Street on Tuscaloosa Avenue and beyond. And I also would like to get everybody to come out. It's going to be a pretty big, important meeting to get a strategic plan, a plan of action to go beyond what the Lynn Project and movement will be doing. So please, everybody, pass the word. We need people to come, especially the pastors. We have 23 churches, right around 23 churches from 3rd Street over to 12th. So we would like for all of them to be involved. We have to get the pastors involved, all the preachers. And then also, I'd like to make a couple of other announcements. We talked about the community Thanksgiving dinner to be at our Convention Hall Thursday. I think it's from 10 to 2, correct? 10 to 2. I'll be up there from 10 to 12 serving. And then I will go down to the celebration station. They're also having a Thanksgiving dinner there from 11 to 3. And I'll serve from 12 to 3 there. So you have several places to eat, and I'm sure other places will be serving also on Thanksgiving. So if you know of anybody that's in need, let them know that they'll be serving at those both places. Thank you.
Councilman Billingsley?
Yes, I had a district meeting the 13th of this Monday, and Heath, our engineer, was there explaining about South 11th Street and the penny sales tax. He wasn't explaining that, but he explained what was going to be accomplished by that sales tax. And people were surprised at the amount of things that is going to entail this. And they've started already on Kmart building, and they're going to start on the Falls pretty soon once the Christmas season is over with. Then you got Moraine Park. You know, these buildings have to be maintained, and the only way we can do that is to spend money to do that. And I echo the mayor. I've been to a couple of places since I have grandchildren, and let me tell you, they're very expensive. And this park up here is very, very reasonable. So come out and see these things that we have in our city if you can. Thank you.
All right, Councilman,
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Councilman Reed?
Yeah, some years ago, Barbara and I had the privilege of going to the old hotel at the Opryland, was the Opryland Hotel. When we checked in, the first thing they said was, be sure and thank the employees. Place was absolutely beautiful. So I say to you, when you go to Falls, thank an employee up there, because you can't imagine the amount of work that those guys, and especially the women up there, do, putting up those lights and everything with it. It's absolutely beautiful. So be sure and thank an employee. It'll mean a lot to them.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Reed. Just have a couple quick announcements, and I'll echo your sentiment about thanking employees. My grandfather taught me a lot of lessons, but a simple one was he would always teach me to, when you go into an establishment, befriend and be sure to be cordial towards the staff in that establishment. So it's why I've kind of learned over the years to reach out to, if I go into a hotel, very cordial, very nice to the desk staff or the bellhop or whomever may be there, because it improves your experience, because those people a lot of times do that work and they do it thanklessly. And so I'll take the opportunity to thank all of our city employees in this season of Thanksgiving. Now, I will tell y'all that my favorite one is sitting right down there at the end of the dais, and it's because it's the only one that actually works for us. And honestly, she is amazing. So I tell people often that Iva is the city clerk's city clerk, and she's the best city clerk in the world, bar none. So I think it's important to highlight that she's very good at what she does, and we won't be letting anybody steal her anytime soon, for sure. We always try to give an update after we attend the NLC. It's always been our practice to give an update after we attend a City Summit event. And so as many of you know, we attended the City Summit event last week. Again, there are a number of purposes that one might attend. Alabama is typically very well represented at those conferences, and but so are other states. And Charlotte did a great job of hosting the event and presented a lot of opportunities. We also get a chance in this space where people are often talking to us about the need for a convention center. I can tell you that those convention buildings require a lot of space and a huge investment, and you gotta have a lot of events in them. You gotta be putting something in them in order for them to be cost effective. Just ask the city of Mobile and how they built that very fine building early on, and they've just recently gotten to the point to where they're putting ample events in that facility. But all in all, the city conference, the City Summit event was a very good event. So for us, the things I think that we draw out of it for the most part are the workshops that offer up some ideas and supporting technical resources for cities to bring home and try to implement a lot of that stuff. A lot of what we do, believe it or not, is based either loosely or directly on something that came out of a City Summit event. We also go there for federal advocacy purposes. Again, if you haven't really picked up on the message here recently, cities are bearing a large part of the burden of keeping up this country and keeping up our nation. And a lot of this talk about tax reform is on the backs of cities and things that are important to us. So again, a lot of what we do there, I can tell you that all of Wednesday, all of Thursday, and a good bit of Saturday, I was there doing nothing but attending meetings and reviewing resolutions and voting on resolutions related to federal advocacy efforts. I'll highlight just a couple of things that we touch on. There are probably easily 70+ resolutions that are in the policy book that come from the NLC. But a few of those involve support for e-fairness, asking Congress to support e-fairness, because again, that's a revenue stream for cities. the protection of the tax exempt status for municipal bonds. You know, all of these projects that Councilman Billingsley was talking about, inclusive of, or many of these projects, inclusive of the East Gadsden Community Center, to some degree are going to be funded by tax-exempt municipal bonds. That's how we raise money, other than, you know, increasing tax revenue locally. That's how we raise money for these big projects, and they wouldn't happen otherwise. Comprehensive tax reform. Cities support tax reform because we believe in reducing the tax burden on our citizens and our constituents, and we also believe in lowering, you know, the complexity of the tax code, or reducing the complexity of the tax code. But what we don't want to do is engage in tax reform and give up all of those things that are important to us. You may have seen us in the past vote on things like being able to refinance in advance a bond issue. Well, the federal government and what's coming out of the White House is they want to be able to take that away from us as a city, and to use the savings from that to pay for tax reform and to pay for a lot of these tax savings. So a lot of that stuff may sound complicated, but again, it's our job to partner with these national groups so that we always have a voice on behalf of cities to address these. And there are a number of issues that are being addressed. Again, veterans advocacy, improving the education outcomes in cities, broadband services, and allowing cities to have some level of control over those things, and then you know, federal investment in our infrastructures. You know, so that's, you know, again, that's just a handful of the many items that get addressed through those things, and there's a lot of work that goes into that. So again, Councilman Reed has served on committees and chaired committees. I likewise have served on committees, chaired committees. You know, Councilwoman Toles, the bug bit her, and she's going to be serving on committees. I mean, but it's important to do that because, again, somebody has to advocate for cities. A lot of times we get stuck in the mud with many of the local issues, and sometimes we forget that there's a broader set of circumstances that we have to advocate for as local elected officials. So again, we appreciate the privilege of being able to go, and we also want people to understand why it is we go. As Councilman Worthy mentioned, the community Thanksgiving event at Convention Hall is Thursday. So we do want people to go out and support that. That's an annual event. It's always managed well, and it's always well attended. So we'd like to see much of that continue here this year. And of course, within District 2, New Destiny also each year conducts a feeding. I don't know the times at this point, but New Destiny and North Gadsden, they typically partner with Popeye's Chicken, and they have an event each year at their church. So we want to encourage people to go out and support that event as well. Finally, due to the Thanksgiving holiday, Thursday's garbage route will be collected Wednesday. Friday's pickup will not change. And also, please be aware, the landfill will be closed on Thursday and Friday and will reopen on Monday, November 27th. Okay, and for all of you that I haven't had the chance to tell personally, please have a very safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving Day holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to each of you. All right.
I forgot, and excuse me, Ms. Swain, is that right? Okay. And I want to recognize her. She came all the way from Georgia because she's concerned about her grandmother living next to a house that we have condemned it a while back. The roof has fell in, the house is falling in, it's awful, and we really need to get it knocked down. So that's why I was asking the question this morning to Mr. Hilton where we were with knocking the houses down. So it's about 10 houses away before they come to our community. So I want people to think we just not up here condemning houses to be condemning them. It's a reason why. Now this lady's grandmother, she loved to do gardening, but she wasn't even able to get out there and do a garden over the summer because of the snakes and the rodents and everything else coming out of that house. When you have an open house like that, the front part is already fell in and you can see right through the house. It's awful. So that's why we are tearing these houses down, not because we want your property. we'd rather for you to keep your house up and we wouldn't have to do this. So I just wanted to let you know, we're working on it. It's been condemned. We condemned it, I think, over a year ago. We're just waiting on them to get to that area to knock it down. Thank you.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Where's her house?
That's the one on Glen Iris. Oh. It's 1104 Glen Iris Drive.